Welcome back to the Comstock channel. My name is Brianne Hendrickson. Today I have Emilee with us. Welcome.
I'm so grateful to be here. Glad that I can join you on this great, fantastic day.
Thanks for being on. What viewers don't know is we've already chatted before this actually multiple times. We had one Zoom interview, and before we hit the record button, we talked for a good hot minute. So this conversation will probably go many places, and I'm excited to see where it goes. But let's start with what you do.
Absolutely. So, my journey started actually a little bit about 3 years ago. I help individuals get started with farming, ranching, owning property, or homesteading. And I started that a few years back because I found a need that people keep moving out to the country, but they didn't have an agriculture background. And one thing is growing up in agriculture, farming and ranching my entire life, we take pride in being able to take care of the land and take care of our animals. Well, so many people that don't grow up with that type of background have no clue, or they really just have a big learning curve of what it takes to take care of the land, what it takes to raise livestock, or to provide yourself or your family with food. And so, because of all of the people moving in, and obviously over the last 3 years, that number has increased, there's so many people who are wanting to learn, how do I take care of my land? What do I need to have a cow or a horse or a goat? Or how do I set up a business plan? Are goals important? Do I need goals for what it is that I want to do? And so I help individuals through in-person consulting or over the phone consulting. I do online courses that help somebody set them up to purchase a property after we've gone over kind of what it is that they want to do and what their vision is. Or I also help them if they've already got property and we move forward from where they're at and look to create the vision that they have for the place. Or if they don't have a vision, well, what is it that you have wanted to do? And we can create that vision through that spending time together. Really, I like to say it's a long-term relationship as far as the time that we spend together, because what you want and how to take care of the animals that you want to have, or grow your own food, or really take care of that soil. When I say land, I say soil and grass, or the crops that you plant. It takes time and understanding what it goes into in the life of those living organisms or animals. And so, no, that was a big start, but that's kind of a roundabout what I do and what I'm passionate about.
So how have you seen, we know that the ag industry continues to change every day, I feel like, but how have you seen the ag industry in helping these families and people start? How have you seen that kind of change?
Well, definitely what I love to tell people is that agriculture is where this world started. It is what keeps us alive every day. It's the number one most important industry that we have today. And so many people, whether it's on the radio interviews that I've had, or, some TV, or just with people who don't come from the type of background I have, they are like, oh, I can get food at the grocery store, or, oh, my clothes, they come from Walmart, or, oh, the fuel in my vehicle comes from one of those big corporations and gas companies. What they don't realize is agriculture actually provides all of that for them. There is one thing that they do every day, which we all eat, right? That's provided to them through agriculture. Everybody, probably not everybody, most people drive a vehicle. Most of those things that are in the vehicle, and especially the fuel, comes from agriculture. Your home is built from agriculture. Hands put it together, but its structure of wood or stone, that comes from agriculture. So that's really a huge question when you ask, what has agriculture done for individuals? It really has done most of everything in their life, for them, is allowing them to live the life that they want. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So let's say I'm a new client. I want to purchase some land. I'm probably going to be in way over my head, I feel like. Anymore, I feel like farming's way in over your head. what are some steps that you say, okay, before you go and make this purchase, or if you're already in the purchase, you need to stop and look at these certain things?
Absolutely. That is what I actually wish more people would start with. That question, and actually like look at the future plan versus so many people jump right in and then they're over their head. When it comes to wanting to purchase land, first off, you've got to start with that plan. And what I mean by a plan is a business plan and just a plan for the life that you want to have. So, if you're wanting to own animals, when you go and look at that land, is it going to be able to hold or be able to raise the animals that you want to have? Not every piece of property is conducive to every livestock out there, right? Or say you want to go plant some crops or a garden. A garden's a little easier as far as in your planning steps because you can do different types of gardening for the areas that you live in, but especially if it comes to like row cropping, not every piece of property, especially if it's not big enough in size or just the environment, the landscape of it, you can't farm on it, right? You can't grow certain crops. So really it is understanding what it is you want to do and then what resources do you already have? Do you already have some equipment? Or do you have somebody that can help back you like a banker as far as getting a loan? Or do you maybe already have the cash to, and savings to go purchase that land? As far as resources too, who do you have to support you? Do you already know some people in agriculture that can help you? Because agriculture is definitely it's about who you know and who can be there to support you. So if you know the resources that you already have, and then on the flip side, you need to know what resources that you need, what you don't have, and what it's going to take for you to get those resources. A lot of times, that's why it's really helpful with talking with a consultant like what I do, or somebody who has been in the ag industry that can help you. Is it probably going to, you're going to have to pay a little bit? Yes, but it's so worth it to have somebody who knows what you're going through, knows agriculture, and can help you. And if they don't know everything, they can connect you to somebody who can help you with whatever it may be. Because working with somebody and spending that little extra money can actually bridge the gap a lot more. Like say, your gap from starting is here, and then 10 miles over here. Well, having that consultant, having somebody to help you can actually like bridge that gap, more close in because they're going to help you to jump over some of the failures maybe or some of the setbacks that you could have with getting started because they're going to share with you, hey, look out for this. Hey, did you think about this? Or, hey, this is what this costs. Maybe did you think about this, renting this or, renting to own, something to that nature. So we could go on and on about all the things you should really think about before you purchase land. And really, actually, if you're already in the process of purchasing land, you need to ask yourself these same questions. What resources do I have? What resources, do I need to get? What's my plan? What's that business plan? Not necessarily the business, but what's my plan moving forward? And if you have that plan, so many people get all uptight, but it's actually a guide for you because when you get started, you can always come back to your plan and go, okay, this is where I want to go. How can I get there? Because a lot of times when you get started, your path you think is going to go like this. Well, guess it's going to go like this and this and this, and to get started. And so bringing yourself and having that solid plan is so helpful moving forward. And I would say too, you need to ask yourself some questions as far as when I have this land, whether it is you're looking at purchasing it or you've already purchased it, where's your water source? What do your fences look like? Who are your neighbors? What are some of the rules of that county that you're wanting to live in or just the state in general? And I could go on and on with more questions that you should ask yourself, but there's a list of a lot of questions that just get you thinking and actually help you know more about that property, because the more you know, the more successful you're going to be.
So do you find nowadays, are you seeing more people wanting to go in the crop side or the livestock side?
Most people that I have found actually like the livestock side. Most people want to have a few cows. They want to have the ag tax exemption for their land, or they want to have some goats, or they want to have some horses. And that's depending on the different breed, kind of depends on, seriously, not breed, but species of livestock or animal. That also plays a part into how you get your exemption on your property. It's really not an exemption, but ag taxes for your land. And a lot of people also too are looking into wildlife, and that's something that I've helped some people with. But really, what I try to encourage people with, because actually what they're finding today, and what you'll find a lot of people in different counties trying to, or Farm Bureau talk to people about, is wildlife can be good, but it also over time, if that land is not turned over per se with cattle, moving the soil around, moving the seeds around, and actually eating down that grass, it can be a fire hazard, because you've got all of this grass or this native grass. So it can be good for a time to let the land rest, but with all these wildfires we're seeing, that is something they have found is not the best to have. So I would say more wildlife and the livestock side of it with the clients that I have worked with, as far as what area they're going into.
So what all states are you kind of all over? I know that you're in Texas, so do you find more clients in Texas? Are you seeing that, or are you seeing some all over?
Quite a few of them have been local, but actually they've more been, as far as online courses, they've been all over the US. There's so many people all over that are looking, and so online presence has been a big thing, that have been a lot from Texas, but a lot around the US. And I've done some interview series, was a free resource teaching people about basically agriculture 101, and I've actually reached people outside the US. But I typically try to focus on reaching the audience inside the US, so that it's easier for one day, to travel to their place to be able to help them. Then that's a little easier right now in time to be able to do that versus outside.
So what does your online course kind of look like? What all do you offer, and what all do you cover?
Absolutely. So currently I'm in the process of working on an interview series for women in agriculture and highlighting them. And it'll be, actually right now you see 35% of women in the United States actually who own and manage, farms or ranches. And it's actually, if you look at the demographics of people moving into agriculture and who are really hyped about careers in ag, not just the production side, but just all careers in ag, are women. And so I really want to highlight women in ag. And so we'll be doing some Q&As and interview series that'll be free for people. So that's in the works coming up. But I also have a course called I Own Land, Now What? So that kind of speaks for itself. I own land. Okay, now what am I supposed to do? What are some of the questions? Some of the questions you asked me or talked about in that, if you want to raise animals, well, what does that look like starting out? What questions should you ask as a landowner? And so it covers some of those basics. So I have that course. Then I'm going to be pushing here again and have done online. And then I'm working on some other courses, but those are kind of the ones I focused on. I'm working on a new course dealing with like animals and how they can be an emotional or therapy, basically. How to, your health, help with your health with animals. Because so many people, I know for me, I found that they've definitely been in an emotional, maybe emotional is not the right word, but they have been just therapy for me in the ups and downs of life, or just in agriculture. And so I think that There's a lot of people who've asked me questions and a lot of people who are worried about their health right now. And so that's something that I'm putting in the works. And then if somebody's really, wanting to be gung ho, I do have an online course that's like a 6-module course and has multiple lessons in each of those modules. That is your agricultural management journey. Basically takes you through that step from what should I do if I want to purchase land or if I already have land. It helps you in that. And then looking at what types of, wildlife or animal or livestock that are out there. What is a business plan? How do I set certain goals, short-term, long-term goals? It talks about your resources. What should I look for? Who should I have in my back pocket, per se, to be able to pick up the phone if I need help? And then then building that relationship if you're looking to buy land with your realtor, and building that relationship with somebody as like a consultant like I am, to help you through the steps and help you through those trials, because you're going to have them. You're going to have them. And so you want somebody on your side who can support you. So that's another online course that I provide.
All right, that'll do it for this episode. Thanks so much. Want more premium content? Subscribe to the Comstock Report, where you will receive 2 reports daily. Want more video content? We are on Facebook, YouTube, and now TikTok. So don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe.